I would like to talk about the end of the Inca Empire and the Spanish Portuguese conquistadors. This is happening, this case, at the end of the 15th century, beginning of the 16th century. It must be seen that Spain and Portugal triumphed over Islam and chased it from their lands in 1492. It was the same year that this new and unique continent discovered by Christopher Columbus was discovered, America. Be careful, this continent in South America is not gay. There are religions which are barbaric. Paganism in South America is a paganism of human sacrifice, of violence, because the gods are fierce gods and famine can happen. Nothing to do with the paganism of Egypt, where the gods are good, are smiling, and are peaceful. There, they are gods of war. It must be said that God will deliver these entire empires to Europeans, and at times in an absolutely incredible way. For example, Francisco Pizarro, with something like 80 men, will conquer an empire as populous as the Roman Empire in the Antiquity, and it aims at two things: the glory of God and getting gold. He serves God and Mammon at the same time, and he believes he can do it. Obviously, it's impossible. Horrors will come out of this. The enslavement of these peoples, who moreover having a weak immunity, die like flies in contact with the disease that Europe imports. And so a gigantic population cannot defend itself and is decimated by the disease. The Spaniards complain about it. You can't use them as slaves. They die very quickly. It cannot therefore be said that these people were massacred. It was rather the disease that made them disappear, even if there were massacres by the sword at the start of the conquest. And so God in there, what to say about God? God does with secondary causes. He deals with conquerors who are barbarians and priests who are not always holy, except a few like Bartolomé de las Casas, who denounces the abuses, and he spreads the gospel all the same, so that these people will be freed from the old gods who enslaved them, to be freed by Christ, whom they will discover. Certainly, at the political level, it will pass from the slavery of these Indian tribes between them to the slavery of Europeans. It won't be any better, but the gospel will be brought, and no one can regret the ancient religions of these regions. Archaeology rediscovers them, and we realize that it was of the order of what is called Moloch. These biblical religions of antiquity, where we used to go through fire, burn children so that the sun gets up in the morning. Still, it was done in a bizarre, amazing way, but it was done all the same. An ancient prophecy of the Incas said that gods will come from the east on giant birds. They would be mounted on giant dogs, and they would bring them salvation. It is said that this prophecy is authentic. We can say that it was realized, but not as we believe, which shows that God is difficult to understand.